want to talk to you guys about my experience taking step one after having prepared for over a month. So maybe around like 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks, and kind of being confused with my preparation, just kind of like trusting what I felt was right. Step one was a 7-hour exam. So in total, the whole day is 8 hours, but you have an hour that can be used as break time. The first 15 minutes is like a tutorial. So if you want to look at the tutorial to see how the test is working, you can use those 15 minutes, but if not, it just gets added to your break time. Man, step one is a marathon. Like, it's just mentally exhausting. I think that's one of the hardest things about it. After my first like 3 or 4 hours, I saw myself not thinking anymore and just making those rapid associations. And then that's when I realized that when you prepare for step one, you need a few things. One is you need high yield content review. So if you're a medical student, as you're going on throughout the year, make sure that you're staying on top of all the content. Even if you're not actively or doing like these, if you're not doing questions on, past organ blocks, or you're not really reviewing immunology, just make sure you still understand it, right? Make sure you're still looking at that content so it just stays in your memory. Because the body operates by the law of use, the brain does at least. So if you don't use it, you lose it. The same way if someone doesn't use their arm, they start to atrophy and they lose the muscles in there. Same thing happens with your brain. The second thing is, when studying for step one, you want to do a large sample of questions. And the reason I say that is because after taking step one, I understood that step one is a test where you have to make a lot of heuristics, which are just mental shortcuts. You have to see a patient and be able to say that, okay, this person is 67, it's a male, it's a smoker, and he has a history of lung disease in the family. Okay, he probably has COPD. You have to make those short associations, because when you're taking a 7-hour, 8-hour exam, your brain stops thinking, and almost like you get into what they call flow state. With the athletes, the surgeons, or everyone calls it flow state, to where you're not thinking anymore, your subconscious is taking over. So your conscious processor, your brain, is not just analyzing every little factoid. Your subconscious is seeing things, and you have to learn to trust your subconscious. So the way to train your subconscious is by doing a lot of questions. And that could be through UWorld, that could be through Amboss, whatever method you find, but you want to make sure you have that in your preparation. And the third thing is, this is the most important thing. Even if you can't do all the questions, make sure that you can mind map all the high yield concepts in medicine. Understand shock and all the different types of shock. Understand the different stroke presentations. Connect everything in the human body so that your mind can have places to go when you see certain things. And that's actually how we learn. So you see children are born into this world, and they learn 8 languages, they learn everything, everyone's name. But the reason is because, one, they learn through curiosity. So we learn by being curious about something. Kids know nothing when they're born, so they're curious about everything. Why does the sun come out at a certain hour? Why do people turn this way when they speak to each other? Why do people make their faces in this manner when they're angry or upset with each other? Why do cars drive this fast in that direction? Why are all these birds a certain color? So that genuine curiosity drives them for answers, right? So once you have a genuine curiosity and you're looking for answers, once you've found these answers, you create patterns around answers. I'll give you an example. Let's say we're all hunter-gatherers, right? And we had to figure out what to eat. And I saw these pink mushrooms, and I was like, okay, what are these mushrooms? Why are they pink, right? And after I discovered that these mushrooms are pink because they grow in this proximity to the sun, and after we ate the mushrooms and we found out that they weren't poisonous, the next time we saw mushrooms, we were getting curious. We were like, okay, these mushrooms are green. Why are they green? We answer that question, and we want to connect why those mushrooms are similar to the pink mushrooms we could eat. And that's how we figure out, okay, which class of mushrooms are poisonous. So now, when someone is learning to survive, learning based on inquisition or just curiosity, it's easier to learn. It's easier to learn because the questions you have are, one, applicable to your life. They satiate your curiosity, and they're all patterns. Man, when you're doing STEP, you want to create these mind maps where you connect entire concepts, and then you want to create group patterns. What are the patterns that you see when someone has pneumonia, or what are the patterns that some bacteria have, or what are the patterns that they use to infect the body? Or you want to connect those things so that your brain has an easier time holding on to these pieces of information. What I wish I knew was that, one, this exam is a mental marathon. You have to train yourself to go for 8 hours. Understand that you're going to have to go for 8 hours. Understand that at some point your subconscious has to take over. You have to go into what we call flow state. You can't be thinking about everything consciously. The second thing is that the only way to train your subconscious, or to train yourself in flow state, is by doing a lot of repetitions, building that muscle memory, building those associations with your brain, so that your brain isn't using lots of calories to compute answers. You're just making associations. You understand how these things connect. The third thing is that after you've done those questions, after you've understood that step one is a marathon, after you've trained your subconscious, You have to go and you have to mind map all the high yield concepts. You have to understand how they connect with every other organ system. And this is what makes medicine fun. Once you've connected every organ system and every high yield concept, and you've created these mind maps in your mind, you have something to take in with you on test day. So if they try to trick you here, you know that, okay, the only way that this concept connects with this is if this missing link is here in the middle. So you want to give yourself all the tools you can have on test day. Once you do that, I think you'll be ready for step one. One thing everyone has to do is to trust their gut. It's weird because when we take tests and stuff like that, we want to logically figure out everything, right? But sometimes our brain doesn't make certain associations in time, but our subconscious, our gut actually knows. That's why sometimes the answer you think of first is a correct answer, because your instinct or your intuition is picking an answer based off thousands of facts, thousands of data points that you may not have conscious access to during the exam. So trust your gut, and you'll see that like you'll get a lot more questions right. And I realized that was one of the biggest things that was holding me back. I was trying to logically figure out everything, kind of arguing with myself during the exam, and you have to be your own best friend. So yeah, that was, I guess, my little spiel about step one. I know we kind of went all over the place, but it is kind of like a brain dump. So when you watch these videos, don't think that it's like a school textbook you read. You have to kind of just play with these ideas. So, and I know you guys could have been anywhere on the planet tonight, but you were here with us. Man, I appreciate it. I know this guy appreciates it. See you soon. I wish you lots of success with everything you do. All right, out.